Hi everyone, I hope you're having a beautiful, lovely day. So, today we'll be playing with some polygel and deal forms. Now, if you're only starting out on your nail journey and you haven't done or haven't had the opportunity to actually use polygel, let me explain. Polygel is beginner friendly and it is what's known as a hybrid gel, which simply means it has the durability and strength of acrylic and the flexibility of gel. So polygel, the ones I'm using, can be soaked off, but you're going to have to be filing as well. You're going to have to file and remove about 75% of the product and then soak off. So yes, it can be soaked off. I know there's brands out there that's not soak off. So whenever you purchase polygel, make sure to look for a soak off one. And then deal forms. So this is really beginner friendly, like I said. And if you buy polygel, if it's a set, normally you will have what's called a slip solution. Now the slip solution is just to make sure that your brush or tool, whatever you're using, is not sticking to the polygel, because polygel is very sticky. And then most kits have a gel brush included as well, which you can use, no problem. But I'm not going to be using a gel brush at all, and I'm not going to be using slip solution either. I'm going to be using isopropyl alcohol. Works just as well. So let's get started. So I already applied a tip tour to my practice finger, and now I'm not going to prep. If you are doing this on your own nail or on a client, please prep. But since this is practice now, I'm not going to prep. I'm not going to prep at all. So I don't see the point. So if you want to know how to prep, you're not sure, please just tell me in the comments and I'll get back to you and I'll explain exactly, or I'll do a video on how I prep normally. So let me find this. Okay, so I already sized the deal tip as well, the deal form as well, I'm sorry. So a nail tip is a 6, this is a 5. Now the reason I chose a 5 is because it's bigger. Now remember, when you're doing polygel, that you have size up, do not size down, because remember, the polygel does take up some space and the nail then won't fit. So keep that in mind. So let's say you've already prepped, and now all that's left is to start. So you can use on a person, on yourself, whether it's you or a client or whatever. I would say rather use a rubber base, but since this is just a practice finger, I am going to use just a normal base. So I'm just going to apply a base coat to her nail. Now remember, this would be scratched up if you were prepping, but since it's just a practice finger, I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to apply, leaving open the space at the cuticle area, making sure not to touch or flood the side walls. So see, okay, and then I'm going to cure for 60 seconds. Okay, so I am going to be using gloves today because this is sticky, and the polygel I'm going to be using is this one. This is from Bling Girl and Glitter Eyes. So I chose a darker color because I really want you to see what I'm doing, and I was afraid that the lighter color might not show up, something like that. But pay attention to the to the brand as well as the consistency of the product you're using, because different products, different consistencies. Now, the ones with the chunky glitter and like this one, it's normally more stiff. It's not runny and it's easier to manipulate. So if you're only just starting out, this might be a good fit. So I'm just going to add some polygel to the drill form. Now you can tell it's stiff because I have to really press the tube just to get it out. So, and when you're doing polygel, remember more is less, or a little goes a long way rather. Oh, my English. Oh. So I'm going to add. There we go. See why I'm wearing a glove? Hold on, let me just close that up. Now, you can use a gel brush if you so choose. I'm not going to. Let me see if I can attach this real quick again. I'm hoping. Damn it. Okay. So I'm going to be using a silicone tool. Now the reason for me using a silicone tool is silicone obviously does not retain alcohol. Whenever I do this, it doesn't hold much alcohol, where as a brush will hold a lot more. Now what's going to happen if you use too much of a slip solution or even the alcohol, it will introduce bubbles into your polygel and you might not be able to remove that. So rather use, if you're beginning, like a silicone tool. So I'm going to wet it and dip it in my alcohol and now I'm just going to press to wherever I want the polygel to be. So I'm only pressing. And this is why I'm wearing gloves. So I'm pressing down. Good. Wait again. Now if you feel it, your tool or your brush sticking, it means that you have to dip it in the alcohol or even the slip solution again. It might be time. So I'm just making sure that it's everywhere I want it to be. The cuticle area should be thin, and then side pull should be covered from side pull to side pull. Now the bulk of the product should be in the middle to where the stress point of your nail is, like your apex. So it should be there. I'm hoping you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to go in, I'm just going to drag this to the side. And again, I'm going to drag this to the side. Let me just turn it around and see if it's everywhere I want it to be. Okay, cool. So now, let me just clean this off. I'm sorry, my voice is not good today. Okay. So I'm going to use a flash cure lamp just to make sure it stays in place, because it will move on you. Just plug this in real quick. Okay. Now taking the finger, I'm going to place, but not touching the cuticle. So make sure you're not touching. There should be, let's call it a roadway, shall we? Between this nail and the extension or the natural nail and extension rather, and I'm going to pull this away. Press down, make sure. Cool. Now I'm going to hold it in place like this, and I'm just going to flash cure that small area there, not the entire nail, just that small area. The reason for doing this is because now it won't move on me. So I'm just going to flash cure that little bit. Now it's not being cured, but now if I need to, I can thin this out still. Like so. Once I'm happy, I'm going to full cure, for 60 seconds like this. Then I'm going to turn around and do another full cure of 60 seconds like this to make sure it is fully cured. Now this should look like this. But before even removing the deal form, I'm going to save myself a lot of trouble down the road by applying a glossy no wipe top coat underneath to where the extension is, to where the nail comes up to, because if we start filing, this will have a tacky inhibition layer. Now what's going to happen if you start filing, every bit of dust will get stuck under there and you won't be able to remove it if you don't have like an e-file or something. So just start glossy top coat and cure again for 60 seconds, and then no dust will be sticking to the underside of your nail. So, and now it's time to remove the deal form, and there we go. So you can reuse the deal forms, you can just clean them with alcohol and reuse them. And now you can just file, so you can clean up the sides and then the free edge as well, and seal in the cuticle area as well. Okay, so once it's been filed, just going to remove some dust everywhere. I'm not going to believe this, but I did clean my table or my desk, even though it doesn't look like it. I really did. The glitter is just about everywhere. Okay, so I'm just going to take some isopropyl alcohol again, a little bit of kitchen towel, and just go over it again. Again, just to remove some dust. Make sure there's no dust. Underneath. Good. Now once we're done, I'm just going to apply a base coat, normal base coat, and I'm going to cure. So after the base coat has been cured, you can now, if you want to strengthen the nail and build some more structure and support and everything else, you can add like a reconstruction gel or even a builder in a bottle on top. A thin layer would work perfectly, but I'm not going to, because this is a practice now. Normally I would, if it's a client, then yes, I would definitely apply a builder in a bottle, clear builder in a bottle on top, and then cure again. If not, then you can start with nail art if you like, but this is such a beautiful color and it's quite dark, so I'm just going to be adding a no wipe top coat and then cure again. And there we go. It is really as easy as that. Now you can repeat the same process on all 10 of your fingers, so have fun with it. And if you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay blessed, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.